My name is Kamaya. I'm a 22-year-old female and I have sickle cell anemia. Well, sickle cell is a blood disease that affects your red blood cells, and they stop the circular red blood cells. Some of the red blood cells sickle turn into like a crescent shape, like a moon or a banana, if you would say, and they block the rest of your red blood cells from coming through and pushing oxygen to your lungs. You can breathe, but when this happens, it causes severe pain in like your joints, muscles, abdominal pain, and also acute chest. Often from it. Acute chest, like I said, acute chest happens when not enough oxygen has flowed to the lungs, so it causes chest pain. When you have chest pain, most of the time there's an infection in your lungs, which causes pneumonia and other. Sickle cell affects the body, and it also affects and damages your organs. Right here I had 2 portacasts placed. The reason I had 2 portacasts placed is because I'm a hard stick. I've clearly had sickle cell my whole life, so with that I've had frequent doctor visits. Each time, I have to give blood. I used to get chronic transfusions. Started younger, and it kind of carries on today. A blood transfusion is basically when they get units of blood and they put it in your body. So as far as like getting IVs in my hands and arms is kind of impossible because my veins are like so little and worn out and damaged. Like you can see all the bruises on my arms as well. So I had a port placed. I had a port placed when I was in, I think, about 7th grade. So I had it for about 8 years, which is a long time to have a port because most of the time ports only last up to 2 years. Some last longer, but most of them last less than that because the risk of infections and blood clots. Luckily, I had mine for so long. The only reason that I had to have it removed is because I had gotten bigger since I was in the 7th grade and developed more skin, and so it was harder to access that one. I had that one removed and another one placed, but I don't have a port now because I recently had a blood clot in my neck a couple months ago, and so because of the port in my chest, they didn't know if the 2 lines were connected and they didn't want to risk it getting infected, so they took the port out. So with sickle cell, most of the time when all your red blood cells aren't flowing, you go into this thing called a crisis. A crisis when you experiencing a lot of pain. Some crises are mild and some are severe. So some start on, a lot of crises, they come on mild. Like for me, I get like a tingly feeling before I get the pain. So it's like my hands, they might get all like numbish or whatever, and like my legs, I get restless. So I start like pacing the floor or walking back, and that's how I know I'm getting sick. Well, the pain is very intense. It's sharp, it's aching, it's stabbing, it's piercing. It's like unimaginable. It's way worse than getting jumped by like 10 people, or it's a constant pain. So it doesn't dull, or it isn't like ongoing. Coming back and forth. It's like constant most of the time. So it's like you're sitting there in like a whole lot of pain. And when you're in a lot of pain, when I'm in a lot of pain, I stop breathing. Not literally like stop breathing and die, but I have asthma as well. So I freak out and I don't be like breathing like I should. And that causes me to have low oxygen. So when I go into the emergency rooms and stuff, like most of the time I have to be put on oxygen, but oxygen helps people when they're in crisis because there's not enough oxygen going to the lungs already. So when you put on the oxygen, it kind of helps with the crisis.
Most people feel like they don't want to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. They want to give up. Mm-hmm. Why don't you feel that way?
I'm not gonna lie, I have felt like that a lot of times, like giving up or not wanting to do it anymore. There was a point at one time I didn't even, I refused to go to the hospital. Like I was just sitting on my couch and I was like in pain. Like my mom, she was scared. She was sitting there crying because she felt like it wasn't like me, And I just told her like I didn't want to do it no more. Like, I'm saying? I'm tired of every month or every other month, having to go to the hospital. When I'm at the hospital, when I go to the ER, no matter what, I'm always admitted, and so when I'm admitted, I'm there like 2 weeks, a week or 2, or however. And then it's like when I'm there, I could go in for a crisis, but I end up catching so many other things. Like I go in there for a sickle cell crisis. They found out I might have like pneumonia or some type of lung infection or any little thing like that. And then it's like, so I'm there getting pain meds as well as antibiotics, and then it's like out of nowhere I may start having a lot of nausea and I'm throwing up constantly. So I'm at the point where I'm in pain and then now I'm throwing up 6-7 times a day each day, you know, and then it's like they're trying to give me more meds. It's like sometimes my body doesn't react well with all of the meds, and that also causes a lot of nausea. And it's just like, it's a lot for one person to handle. Is this what I got to live for, like, every day of my life? Like, every time I get sick, like, this is what I'm come to. So it's like I was ready to give up. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I just felt like I didn't want to do it. So that day I just didn't want to go, and she called my grandma, and I kind of think it was my grandma, you know, because it's like, I mean, who can say no to their grandma? She just touched something, you know, and then she was on the phone crying, and it just made me cry. And it just was like, okay, I'll go, you know. It's just like when you're there, like when I'm there, like all I do is see 4 white walls all day to me. And like, yeah, I have, you know, people, my family, of course, they're like my biggest support system. So they come, you know, they sit with me, bring me food, talk, laugh, whatever, if I'm in the mood for it, if I'm up for it. But it's like when they're gone, it's like when it's nighttime and I'm just there by myself, or like days that no one comes, it's just like I'm sitting there and it's just like I'm just looking at the walls, like, you know what I'm saying, like, why me? Like, why am I sitting here? Like, you know what I'm saying, like, what did I do to deserve this or whatever? It just gets hard. And it's like, you know, I do believe in God or whatever, and I do have faith in God, but it's just sometimes I have to question that faith, because it's like I go through so much, not just with the disease, but because of the disease, it affects my whole entire life. I have questioned my faith a couple of times because of the fact, like I said, I always ask, like, you know what I'm saying, like, why me? Because I just felt like it's just hard, you know, like, well, now I'm 22 years old, but it's like struggling with this for a long time, like, since I was a kid, you know. And I think the one thing about having the disease or whatever is like, you want to be normal so bad, but you're not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I can do anything that the other person can, and I probably can, but it's just like, maybe it'll take me some time, you know what I'm saying, longer to achieve whatever they can do, or maybe I might do it before they can, but I'm going to have obstacles doing a lot of things that other people can do because of the disease. It prohibits that, and that is just like a big issue with me, because going through life from being a child to now, like going my high school years, like, I was in the IB program the first 2 years, my freshman year and sophomore year at Hyde Park. And, you know, it was a really good program. I had all AP classes and honor classes. And then it was just like, because I was missing so many frequent days, like, I probably missed like 30 days in one semester. And, you know, they dropped me from the program, you know what I'm saying, because of my absences. And it was like a slap in the face, because it was like, I'm doing the work, you know, I make up the assignments, like, my attendance didn't affect my grades, you know. I'll be in the hospital working hard, doing whatever I have to do. Like, the teachers would send homework, the counselors or whatever, they would send it to my email, or someone would bring it as an advocate, you know, bring the homework or whatever, and I did the homework, and it's like, wow, like, I have to go through, you know what I'm saying, I felt like I was being punished for being sick, like, and that was like a big issue. And then even after high school, like, going into college, like, you know, I started out at Southern, and like not even a month I had to come home because I had to have emergency gallbladder surgery, and recovery was 6 weeks. So I couldn't stay there on campus. It was a big campus, you know, with a lot of walking, so I had to withdraw from the university, which is crazy. And like, to this day they still hold me accountable for withdrawing. Like, it was out of my hands, I was sick, but I wasn't there long enough to even get a grades or anything. So it's like I still owe them a debt from which they say I owe for being at the university and not withdrawing, but I withdrew, you know, like, it was a medical withdrawal. Like, it's just like no matter what I do, or like how far I try to push myself, it's like I'm always getting knocked, you know what I'm saying, 2 steps back. And then I just felt like, you know what I'm saying, I know. And then it's like growing up in church as well, like, it's like you hear the pastor or you hear people say, you know what I'm saying, like, he never put more on you than you could bear, or, you know, like, that, you know what I'm saying, my days get brighter, like, they get better, you know what I'm saying, like, he may not come when you want to, but he'll be there right on time. It's just like, so when is my time coming, you know, like, well, when is he gonna come, you know what I'm saying, help me with my situation. I mean, as far as a cure, it's not even enough funding for researchers to invest in a cure, you know what I'm saying, like, because sickle cell is not a widely touched on disease as far as cancer, AIDS, and other diseases. So, I mean, a lot of people don't even know what sickle cell is. So it's kind of hard. It's just like, I'm just going to have to go through this disease, you know what I'm saying, and like struggle with it, because it's like, I don't, you know, I have no outlet. Like, I'm not going to get any better. You know, meds only help to ease the pain, but it doesn't make you better. And it's just like, I just ask God sometimes, like, you know, why me? Like, like I always ask them why me, but as I got older, you know, and coming to church more or whatever, and talking to the pastor and other people and mentors that are in my life, it's just like, you know, why not me? Like, I'm always asking, like, what did I do to deserve this? But what did I do not to deserve it? You know what I'm saying? Like, what makes me better than the next person? Like I have sickle cell doesn't have me. So, like, since then, I've just, you know what I'm saying, outcome my disease. Like, I don't let my disease stop me from doing anything. Like, whatever I want, I go after it, no matter what I gotta go through. Like, if it's gonna bring, you know what I'm saying, if I'm gonna get sick and it's gonna stop the process and I have to start over, like, I just do it because I feel like a lot of people is counting on me. I know I'm a role model to a lot of people because a lot of people tell me, like, they look up to me, and a lot of people, even in the church, you know, they tell me, like, that I have to watch my actions or whatever because they used to look up to me. But I kind of feel like no matter who looks up to me, young or old, like, I'm gonna be me, you know. I try to be me. Like, I try to live my life and enjoy my life while I have the chance, you know. I mean, maybe I don't make the right decisions all the time, but like I said, I'm not perfect. And, you know, I thank you all, like the church and my family, you know, for believing in me and like supporting me as much as you all do. Like, I mean, it really helps me and it really keeps me going. Like, I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you all bring joy to me, like, you know, and I get all the texts and the, you know, the Facebook posts, or, you know, when I come back, I get so much love shown. It's like, you know, I appreciate you all. Like, I love you all. Like church is like my second home, you know? Like, I love church. So I feel like if I could be able to wake up every day and try to, you know, push myself to keep going forward and to achieve all my goals, and, you know, don't let nothing bring me down. Like, I'm a conqueror. I have it tattooed. And so, like, I stand by that. Like, I feel like I am a conqueror. Like, I could do anything, you know. And so I feel like if I can, no matter nobody else's circumstances or situation, I feel like they can too. Being there is like a whole different person, because me, the Kamaya I know, like, I'm a real fun, outgoing person, you know. Like, I'm loud, and, you know, I feel like I'm always rah, rah. Like, I'm a real aggressive person. Like, I'm hands-on. It's like I'm not no lazy. I just feel like that's a burden that I'm there in the bed 2 weeks, you know. And it's like most of the time, sometimes I'm not even in the mood to talk. Sometimes I don't text people back or can even, you know what I'm saying, like, talk to my family when they come sometimes. And sometimes I'm in a good mood, you know, it's a good day. And it's just a lot. I do believe like God chose me to have this disease for a reason, you know, because I mean, I know a lot of people, and I just know they couldn't handle it, you know. I don't think they could deal with it the way I do, or just by people's reactions to when they know I'm sick, you know. I feel like they fall apart more than I do, and I feel like I can't fall apart, or I can't, you know, I can't cry or be sad or be depressed no more, because it's like I feel like I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, you know. I feel like everybody, you know, they're commending me on my strength and, you know, me persevering and this and that, and it's just, you know, it's like a character buildup, you know. Like, I take all of those things, I take it to heart, you know, because I do feel those things myself, and it's like I try to continue to be that person, you know. And I feel like, I think God, he did choose me because I am a great leader, you know, and I'm going to do something like great and positive. And I know people are going to look at that like, oh, she had sickle cell, but she still did this, you know.